I'm an employee at Seattle Children's. I'm also queer, so this is something that hits really hard and home for me. And it's also something that really matters to a lot of Seattle Children's employees. Many employees work here because of the gender care that their children or their family members have received. So when we heard about this issue in The Stranger, we didn't hear about it from anyone who worked at Seattle Children's. It was from The Stranger. It was a big shock, and it really angered a lot of people and frustrated us and felt like we're not sticking to our core values as an organization. So we're here. We're showing our support. We want to end the transgender surgery ban, and we want our kids to get care.
And who caused that transgender surgery ban?
Donald Trump put in an executive order, and Seattle Children's is following an executive order that's not actually a law yet. And the Department of Justice has put out messaging that no one should follow and enforce these executive decisions if they're not actually supported by law. And they're not supported by law. So they've decided to ban it with really no legal reasoning behind it at all.
Are there a lot of trans children at the Seattle Children's Hospital from your experience?
Yes. The queer children are a big portion of our patients. They have a huge presence here. There are many queer staff members that are here, so the queer presence at Seattle Children's is definitely significant. Yeah.
And in your experience or personal experience or professional experience or whatever, how does a lack of care, gender-affirming care to children affect them?
Well, it's putting people's lives at risk. It's putting children's lives at risk. These issues matter. For Children's Hospital to recognize that there are things that we can do to help kids and then refuse to do it is a blatant lack of respect and care. Yeah.
What way does it put their lives at risk?
Well, it's removing their options for medical care. It's removing their options for help. We know what these kids need, and we're choosing not to give that help to them.
Yeah. And suicidal ideation in kids age 10 to 14 in general, not just trans kids, is very high. It's the second or third leading cause of death according to the CDC. What types of gender-affirming care is being stripped away from the kids here at the Seattle Children's Hospital?
Well, it's hard to say because we actually don't know. We haven't been able to talk to the people who put this ban in place, the executive leadership team. They won't answer our messages or our calls or anything. So as far as we know, the surgery ban is in place and there's probably more to come. We just don't know. Yeah.
I had another question. I could think. Okay. A lot of people, so you've worked with trans kids and queer kids, and a lot of people, particularly people who voted for Donald Trump, I think have this proclivity to claim that kids don't know who they are, especially when they're talking about younger kids. There's no way they could ever know that they're transgender. This is something that only adults could know, etc. What would you say to those people, whether it's stuff from your personal experience or professional experience or both?
I think that you're not talking to kids because kids are really smart and they know themselves better than anybody. And I think if you were to talk to a transgender American kid, that they would be able to tell you exactly when they started conceptualizing their gender and started feeling complex feelings about it. From my experience, these feelings start up like 2 to 3 years old. So these are feelings that these kids are living with at a really young age. They don't even know what these feelings are. They just know that they feel wrong and they feel like they need help.
And they express it, right?
And they express it, and they say, and many times, very frequently, trans kids will say, I do not fit whatever box that I'm being put into. And so as adults, it's our job to help them and to guide them towards resources. It's not our job to decide any of those things for them. And a lot of times these kids are asking for care. And so if they're asking for care, I think we need to give it to them.
And since I have the luxury of talking to somebody like you who's worked with a lot of trans kids, in what way do they express it? Like, is it maybe I don't like boy stuff, or I don't like girl stuff, or I want, long hair? Like, what way do they express it?
It's definitely that. I think it's a lot of small things, wanting to wear different clothes, style their hair different ways. But it also comes out in self-expression and their personal identity. So it comes out in everything. Their creativity is diminished when they're being forced into a box that doesn't fit. Their happiness is diminished when they're forced into a box that doesn't fit. They're really just not able to thrive as human beings and as children. They feel limited and scared, and that's really all they know. They don't understand why it's happening. They just know that they're not being supported and they are scared, and they might be hurting too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you chatting with me.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of really good people out here, I think, to talk to.
Yes, thank you.
The last person was a mental health therapist for children, so and you work at the hospital, so it's great. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Of
We really
course.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.